Hey, what's good? In today's video, I'm going to be going over some images that I shot with the homie Ryan while skating in LA using the Fuji X100V. The Fuji X100 is not only perfect for everyday shots, but I honestly use this a lot for skating too. Even though I typically tend to shoot a lot of film, if I am shooting digital, the fact that this thing is so small, lightweight, compact, and it provides amazing results is one of the reasons why it's always in my camera bag. I was lucky enough to come up on this thing for about 800 bucks, and this was before the pandemic, before, TikTok and IG really blew up this camera. And honestly, there's a lot of hype around a lot of cameras, but this one I would say is definitely worth it. There's 5 different versions of this camera. I've had all of them, and honestly, if you could get your hands on any of them, I think the X100 is probably under 500 bucks, the original one. And the image quality, whether you're going with the OG one or the most recent, they all look really good. The reason why I like the Fuji X100V is I essentially treat it like a digital version of the Contax G1 that I own. And I'm not talking about presets or making my digital photos look like film. I really just treat it like I am shooting film. So even though I have a memory card in there that might hold thousands of images, I'll go out a full day. I might only shoot 60 photos, and that would equate to, about 2 rolls of film. And I really try to slow down and make every image count. Of course, you could shoot a shit ton of photos and it's not going to cost you anything extra. But if you approach it with the same mindset as if you're shooting film, overall, I think this will help you become a better photographer, especially if you're shooting with this on the daily basis. A couple of ways that I could achieve this look is the optional flash that they make. This one is the Fuji EF X20. I had to look at this because I didn't memorize that. Basically, this is just a hot shoe flash that you snap on top, and this essentially will help me emulate something like the Contax G1 with the mounted flash on top, so I could get that point and shoot vibe. I could honestly use that to my advantage, and the fact that I'm not shooting film means that I could try a little bit more creative shots, and that essentially will let me emulate a point and shoot camera or a point and shoot film camera like the Contax G1, for example. And because I'm not shooting film, I can go crazy. I could shoot a ton of photos, or I could shoot just a couple, and I'm not burning through rolls of film, or I'm not wasting frames on stuff that I'm honestly not hyped on. That's one of the key benefits of using that flash. And another way I can emulate that look is there's different focus modes on here. So of course, if I want autofocus, there's different modes for that. But what I typically like to do is I'll switch it to manual focus, and either I'll zone focus with it, or I'll purposely miss focus or make stuff look a little soft, so that way it takes off that digital edge, so it's not super sharp. And what shooting manual focus will do is allow me to get a little bit more creative and add some blur into my shots, which for me personally, it kind of takes off that digital edge and it makes it feel not perfect, so that way it's a little bit closer to like that film look without even touching tones or edits or anything like that. And with the X100V, I mean, you could get everything from portraits, you could get landscape photos, you could shoot street style with it, you could zone focus with it. I typically choose to shoot it when I'm out, either traveling and I want just a digital camera to give me some quick results, or if I'm out skating. Let's say if I finish a roll on the Leica and I don't have time, or I just honestly don't feel like loading another roll of film in, I'll usually just pop this thing out. Sometimes I'll hook up flashes to it or use the mounted flash on it. It's nice to be able to, show whoever I'm shooting just some of the images if I'm hyped on something. And lucky enough, I was able to hit up the homie Ryan, who was down to skate, and specifically at this spot. And the reason why I chose this location is at the top of the hill, there's an overlook where you could actually see the skyline in the background. And because Ryan has such good pop, there was a trick that I had in mind that I really wanted him to try. And even though it was a flat ground trick, because he has such good pop, I wanted to basically get him, at the peak trick with the skyline in the background. I wanted to be able to shoot it on the X100V just to be able to see it right away. And also I wanted to film that clip too, just because it kind of has like a cinematic vibe, and it's something that I've been wanting to try for a minute. Luckily, he was down to do it, so we of course knocked it out in only a couple of tries. We ended up just staying in that zone. We shot a couple of photos. I shot some portraits of him, I shot some panning images of him skating, pushing across the street, and I just really wanted to show the quality of this specific camera and how easy it is to use and the amazing photos that you get from it. And as you can see, the image quality you get from it is amazing. It's one of the main reasons why I always have this camera with me. And if you utilize some of those techniques that I talked about, you could definitely make your images look very similar to the results that you would get when shooting film. And in the end, the Fuji X100V is honestly something that's always in my bag. I always take it on trips and it's good to fall back on if I didn't bring enough film. Having the instant gratification of having a digital camera with me and being able to go home, choose selects, and send photos out to whoever I shot is something that's amazing. And I don't typically always get that with film. And those are just a few reasons why I enjoy shooting with the Fuji X100V. And if you own this camera, shoot me some photos, tag me on IG. I definitely want to see what you guys are creating. If you found any of these tips helpful, feel free to like the video, drop a comment, and if you want to see more stuff like this, consider subscribing. That's it for this one. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.